Welcome everybody to the June 9th, 2026 meeting of Henderson County Fiscal Court. We are glad you're with us, and for those watching online, we're glad you're with us as well. We will begin as we always do with an invocation. Please join me and stand. Dear Heavenly Father, please watch over this group as we make decisions for our community. Please watch over Henderson County and its people, its workers, visitors. Please watch over our men and women in uniform, both here and abroad. We ask these things in Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen.
Please join me in the pledge of allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Magistrate Starks.
Here.
Magistrate Berry.
Here.
Magistrate Southard.
Here.
Magistrate Tompkins is absent, and Magistrate Putman.
Here.
Gentlemen, you have in your packet the minutes of the May 26, 2026 Fiscal Court meeting. And after a period of review, I'll entertain a motion to approve those.
So moved.
We have a motion and a second. Any other corrections, clarifications, or additions? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? First up on the agenda is appointments to our tourism board. They are my appointments. Two of them are joint appointments with the city. One is the chair for a hotelier, which is specifically designated for the Tourist Commission. Another is for the Chamber of Commerce president, and the county has an at-large appointment. After discussing this with Abby Dixon, the tourism director, we're going to reappoint Dee Patel to the hotelier seat, and obviously Clay Gillum to the Henderson Chamber of Commerce seat, and also reappoint Katie Gross-Moussa to the at-large seat on the tourism board. Those don't require a fiscal court vote, but I just want to give you an FYI on that. We have two public hearings we're required to hold, and I'll ask Treasurer Ryder to come up. The first is going to be a public hearing on our LGEA budget in the new budget, 2026-2027 budget. And before we start, I'll entertain a motion to go into public hearing.
So moved. Second.
We have a motion and a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Treasurer Ryder.
Henderson County anticipates the receipt of LGEA, Local Government Economic Assistance Funds, for the fiscal year 27 to be approximately $3,646,498. These funds will be used for general health, sanitation, public safety, social services, non-for-profit agencies, and events. Main sources of the anticipated revenue is $165,000 from waste hauling franchise fees, $3 million from coal severance, $250,000 from mineral tax severance. Appropriations, while these are not all-inclusive, include volunteer fire departments, 911 communication center, landfill, Canoe Creek maintenance, Humane Society, Senior Citizens Program, Habitat for Humanity, Human Rights, and several non-for-profits and several community events, and also busing parochial students. $1,450,000 is also included for the resurfacing of county roads.
So I'll ask anybody who'd like to make a comment on our LGEA budget to come to the podium, please, if you want to make a comment. Ask a second time. And a third time. Anybody? Okay. A motion to go out of public hearing for LGEA.
So moved.
We have a motion and a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Now we need a motion to go to public hearing about county road aid.
So moved. Second.
Motion and a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay.
Henderson County anticipates the receipt of county road aid funds to be approximately $1,282,400. These funds are primarily funded by the state motor fuel taxes and should be used for the construction, reconstruction, and maintenance of county roads. Distribution of fuel tax is based on population, road mileage, and the land area of the county. The distribution of the county road aid funds, approximately 60% to be received in August of '26, 30 to 35% to be received January of 2027, and the remaining to be received approximately July of 2027. Other sources for county road funds for fiscal year '27 are from truck license distributions from the state and budgeted transfers from the general fund to the road fund of $3,777,662.
I'll ask anybody who'd like to comment about our expenditure of county road aid to come to the mic, please. Ask a second time. And by state statute, a third time. Okay, have a motion to go out of public hearing.
So move.
Second.
Motion is second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you. As we do every year at this time, you have in front of you the compensation for county employees and officers. Any questions about that? Again, that's part of our budget for the new year. I'll have the clerk read a resolution.
Resolution relating to the Henderson County Fiscal Court fixed compensation and reappoint county employees for the fiscal year 2027. Whereas the judge executive is authorized to appoint and reappoint county employees with approval of fiscal court pursuant to KRS 67.7107. Whereas pursuant to KRS 64.530, the fiscal court wishes to fix the reasonable compensation of every county officer and employee except those named in KRS 64.535. And whereas the statute requires all that the fiscal court fix the reasonable compensation of all employees, even elected officials, which are not specifically exempted. Now therefore be it resolved by the fiscal court, County of Henderson, Kentucky as follows. Pursuant to KRS 64.530, the reasonable compensation of all full-time, part-time, and seasonal employees of the county other than those employees enumerated in KRS 64.535 is fixed in accordance the attached list of said employees and their compensation, which is attached hereto and incorporated herein.
Motion approved.
I move to approve.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any other discussion? Any questions? All those in favor say aye.
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 Any opposed? Next, we have our annual agreement with our local Crime Stoppers organization in Henderson County, where a portion of fees from court costs help support them in their anti-crime efforts. We appreciate what they do, and I will have a clerk read the resolution.
Resolution authorizing county to enter into an agreement with local Crime Stoppers organization. Whereas KRS 431.597 allows for the county to enter into an agreement of affiliation with the local Crime Stoppers organization, and whereas the Henderson County Fiscal Court feels that it is in the best interest of the county to enter into such an agreement in order to allow a $1 fee to be collected in court costs from any person convicted of a misdemeanor or violation other than a violation of KRS Chapters 186, 187, 188, 189, or 189A, and sentenced to pay a fine for the misdemeanor or violation. Said fee would be dispersed to the local Crime Stoppers organization. Now, therefore, be it resolved by the Fiscal Court, Henderson County of Henderson, Kentucky as follows. That the Henderson County Fiscal Court shall enter into an agreement with the local Crime Stoppers organization in order to allow a $1 fee to be collected in court costs from any person convicted of a misdemeanor or violation other than a violation of KRS Chapter 186, 187, 188, 189, or 189A, and sentenced to pay a fine for the misdemeanor or violation.
Get a motion to approve?
So moved.
We have a motion and a second. Any other comments? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Next, we'll be signing and approving, hopefully, our MOU with both the city and Henderson County Schools to expand a fire science career pathway at our career and technical education unit and hopefully provide more opportunities for young people to either enter professional firefighter work or to become volunteer firefighters. And Chief Dixon's with us, and I wonder if you'd come up to the podium. You may not have planned to do this, but I'd love to have you. And bring your guest, please. Thank you for taking the time. If you'd introduce your guest to everybody who might not know.
Yes, I'm Chief Josh Dixon of the Henderson Fire Department, and I've got with me Division Chief Casey Howard. He's the head of our training division. He also is the current instructor for the pathway, and he's kind of here for the success of that pathway and how it is. And I'd like him to kind of weigh in on kind of what's went down throughout the year and why we're at this point.
Yeah, so it's been a great year so far. I've learned a lot about teachers. I gained a whole new respect for teachers, that's for sure, especially in the high school age group. But it's been a great experience, hopefully for the students as well. We have gotten great feedback from many of the students, and several of the students come in as freshmen all the way to senior, didn't really know what they wanted to do with their lives after high school or after college. And some of them had decided that now they want to be either a volunteer firefighter or a career firefighter. And some were already on that path to begin with, so this was just able to give them a nudge in that direction and give them some training to back up their plan and their ideas for the future. So it's been great so far. We've had a few join volunteer fire departments already, and hopefully in the coming years we get more and more to join the volunteer departments. Also coming into this coming school year, we're going to have 3 co-ops from the high school at the Henderson Fire Department. And again, hopefully we can kind of nudge them towards volunteer service as well. Chief, you got anything else you want to say?
Yeah, so I think we've got about 75 students signed up already for this upcoming year, which is a big deal. He hinted about the volunteers, but we probably have 4 or 5 that have already started helping in the volunteer department, so it's already a good pipeline. I think we had 4 letters of intent signed with us to apply for the fire department here as well. And it's just one of those things that we committed to 2 years to teaching it, but you fast forward to where we're at now and the commitment and it being basically a full day, we almost lose Casey. So it's it's just a need for the department, it's a need for the community. I think it benefits not only just the city but also the county as well. So.
And again, they've had 1 year to see how it would go, and it's gone well. And then the popularity of the program's proving that you do have some talent as a teacher, and it will help county volunteer fire departments, hopefully. And if you read the memorandum, we would be funding 33% of the total cost, partnering with the city and the schools, and just to grow the program, right? And there's a lot of good to be done here. And, we hear all the time from volunteer fire departments about their major hurdle being new volunteers, a new generation of volunteers. So hopefully this will help. The initial cost, if you remember, they pegged it around $38,000 for the county. That could grow, could stay stable. We'll just have to see. But the memorandum of understanding commits us to 33%, which will be billed to us by the city. We'll repay the city for that. Pretty simple and hopefully fruitful. And I know that I think you've enjoyed it so far. And working with kids is great. So any other questions?
You say you had 75?
75 this upcoming year, yes.
Is that one class, like you put them
4
on?
class periods.
Okay.
So it's a 4-year program. So some of the students that took the class this past school year will be taking 2 periods this coming year. So they'll be taking basic 2 and 3 this year. So those 75 students are spread out into 4 different periods.
And Craig, I'm sorry.
I'm sorry, Judge. I was just going to ask about what do they finish with? Is there a certificate that they receive or can receive if they complete the training?
Yeah, so the Kentucky Board of Education and the Kentucky Fire Commission work together to form Apprentice 1 and Apprentice 2, which is a lower version of the Basic 1 and Basic 2 that all firefighters have to get. But that includes all training with the exception of live burns and firefighter survival and rescue, which you have to be 18 to do. So our plan, once they graduate, is to host those classes in the summer after somebody has completed the 4-year program so that they can complete basic firefighter 1 and 2 for the firefighter standards that the fire commissioner requires.
And to finish that firefighter 1 training by the time they get through the summer after their senior year is a big deal. You know,
Fast tracks.
It does, yes.
Yes.
and jumping to firefighter 2, which would then enable them to get on trucks and fight fires, is just that much closer. Am I right about that?
Right, sure.
So it's a great way to, you know, speed up that process if you can, so. Okay.
If I'm understanding correctly, our volunteer fire departments have to pay for this training that you are providing now. So that's actually going to take that out of their budget to get to, which will help them too. So it's a win all the way around, for sure.
Or some of those volunteers pay for it themselves.
Right.
Yeah. Thank you, gentlemen, I appreciate it.
Appreciate it, thanks.
So I hope you've read the memorandum. It spells out what I kind of described there. We have a resolution approving the memorandum, and I'll ask the clerk to read that resolution.
Resolution approving memorandum of understanding between the Henderson County Fiscal Court, the City of Henderson, and Henderson County Schools for the creation of a fire science career pathway at the Henderson County High School. Whereas Henderson County is currently experiencing a shortage of volunteer firefighters necessary to adequately serve and protect its residents. Whereas City of Henderson seeks to maintain and strengthen a reliable pipeline of well-trained firefighters to support its fire department operations. Whereas the Henderson County school system is committed to providing high-quality educational opportunities that align with its mission of preparing students to be career-ready upon graduation. Whereas the parties desire to collaborate to develop and implement a program that provides students with training, education, and practical experience in fire service. Whereas such collaboration will promote public safety, workforce development, and educational advancement within the community. Whereas a memorandum of understanding, MOU, has been drafted to define the relationship among the City of Henderson, Henderson County Schools, and the Henderson County Fiscal Court with respect to providing an instructor for the creation of a fire science career pathway at Henderson County High School. And whereas the Henderson County Fiscal Court finds that approving the agreement is in the best interest of the citizens of Henderson County and will enhance public safety and emergency response capabilities in the county. Now therefore be it resolved by the Henderson Fiscal Court as follows. 1, that the Memorandum of Understanding Fire Science Career Pathway, which is attached hereto and incorporated herein, between the Henderson County Fiscal Court, the City of Henderson, and the Henderson County Schools is hereby approved. 2, the county judge executive is hereby directed to execute the agreement on behalf of the Henderson Fiscal Court and is further directed to execute any and all other necessary and appropriate documents required to effectuate the intent thereof. 3, the Henderson County Treasurer is hereby authorized and directed to make reimbursements in accordance with the agreement upon the receipt of appropriate documentation and approval by Fiscal Court.
That's it.
Yeah.
Any questions? Entertain a motion.
So move. Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, next, call Nick Stallings up to the podium. We've got a couple options on salt purchases for this year and also potentially partnering with KYTC on that.
Good morning, folks.
Morning, Nick.
Okay, this year, we went out for bid, or well, the state did, we went out for bid for the counties. And KCO, they dropped out this year to doing the reverse auction for salt. So basically, any county who wanted to get into the mix, you know, sent in, said they were available or they were wanting to be in the mix to get into salt. This year, we only had 2 bidders who bid for salt. One was IBG, Magic of Kentuckiana, and Compass. They came in at $173 a ton and $174 a ton respectively. Now, I'll let you all know, last year we had salt at $131 a ton. So we went up $40-something a ton for salt. which again is substantial that we're paying that much for salt. But again, we're about $1 short of going to Sureway and buying salt shakers, and everybody just get on back of trucks and salting their own roads, right? So we're working out a deal with Sureway and see if we go buy salt. No, I'm kidding. But that's what we're got to do. You got to kind of find alternative ways to salt your roads. Now there is an option, so I'll go ahead and ask for us to go out to accept those bids for $173 a ton for Magic of Kentuckiana, and then $174 for Compass. So we would go to $173 for Magic of Kentuckiana.
To accept those bids?
Yes.
Okay. Get a motion to that effect?
So moved.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? However,
Yes, I am. There is something that's called an interagent agreement that you can do with that the state can do with counties, cities, smaller governments, where we can jump on their price. They're big fish in a pond, right? They're 50, 60, 70,000 tons a year, so they've got a better price. Usually, we're not anywhere in that realm of enough salt to be able to get a price that they will let us do an interoperative agreement with. Now we are, because we can see the difference of their price and ours, which is somewhere around $50-$60 a ton cheaper. So with this interagency agreement, I'm looking to try to get 600 tons of salt that can work on getting our salt dome filled back up and give us enough in reserve, because right now we've got somewhere around 198 to 200 tons of salt. So that's 2 or 3 snows, and we're scraping the bottom. So with the way the salt prices have doubled since I've been here for the last 5 years, this is a perfect opportunity to jump in. They're also going up with the state. The state's getting an increase, is what their salt providers are giving them up almost a 15% increase. So this is a perfect opportunity to jump on that and try to move around money to get this agreement.
and the price difference is?
It's $105 a ton.
So we're accepting these bids, but then we're going to get salt from these same providers at the KYTC discount. Is that what we're doing here?
Yes. Now, it won't be from the same provider, but it would be from a salt manufacturer.
Okay, so we're accepting the bids, we're just not going to buy from them.
Well, I wouldn't say that. Something happens, and we got to, right?
Okay.
Say January of 2027, we have a massive snowstorm and we go through all our salt.
Gotcha.
Our like I said, our second option is going to Sureway. So we've got to do something.
Okay.
Just to clarify, Nick, the advertisement for the bids for salt that was just accepted from these providers was that to be the exclusive providers, or were they non-exclusive?
That would be the exclusive.
Exclusive. So if our agreement is with those two companies to buy exclusively from them,
But can't we, but state contract. Help me out here.
I don't know,
State-
I don't know what your RFP said. If it said that put these bids in, if they're accepted, we're only going to buy from them, that ties our hands a little bit, right?
I mean, I've bought from the state before.
I understand. But that's why I'm asking you. You're familiar with what was stated in the RFP, right?
Yes, but it is not a buy only from us or nothing.
So it's non-exclusive?
Yes.
Okay. Earlier when you said exclusive, that had me concerned. Okay, so if it's non-exclusive, then.
But on the salt bids, it is, those are the only two people that bid, so I guess that's what I was trying to say.
And
as far as-
they were approved for you to be able to purchase from them at those
purchase from
rates,
them,
but there's
yes,
not,
yes.
there was
No,
nothing
not
in that
exclusive.
that
No,
said
because
we
we
were
could-
exclusive
yes.
with them? Okay. Just want to make sure. Thank you.
Hey,
So-
double check that?
Yeah, we need to make sure before we take this any further, we don't need, if we're gonna get it from the state for $70 a ton cheaper, we don't need to lock ourselves into the higher salt price.
Yeah, well, can you
Well, I
double check and
didn't-
make sure
I
it's
didn't-
not exclusive, so we don't run afoul of our procurement?
Well, the procurement on the thing, though, I mean, we can go to the state contract. I mean, under the law, we got to put out the bids. Doesn't mean we have to accept them
Yes,
if we can
we're gonna
find
be
a
over
cheaper
that-
source.
to
And
be
that
over
would be
that
under the state
$40,000.
contract, right?
But you did just vote to
But we
accept
just
it.
did accept it.
But I'm saying.
That's my concern.
Yep.
But if they're higher than the state contract,
Well, it depends on whether it's an exclusive.
If the RFP says, if your bid is accepted, we will exclusively buy from you, then
We have to
buying
buy
from
it.
someone else is an issue. If it just says, give us a price and we may or may not buy from you depending on supply chain issues or availability or things like that, then that's fine. I was just curious as to what the actual RFP said
Can you
in that
double check
regard.
that for us?
Because
Yeah,
if
yeah,
it's
give it
non-exclusive, then going through the state is fine. And we don't have a completed agreement from the state yet. All I had seen was some fill-in-the-blanks type things. They've not filled in those blanks for us yet, have they?
Yes, no, we had to go in, no, I filled in the blanks for us. I just got to go in and get
Okay.
approval by you all, so state highway engineer can sign it. But I'll get with our procurement guy to find out what the RFP for sure, what it said on that. I mean, this is something we've done, even back when Bill was here, you always do the reverse auction. This is just the first time it's went out to where KCO is no longer running the show to get everybody together, and whatever counties wants to jump in can jump in. This is essentially the same thing without KCO.
Looks like Mr. Weason may have checked that.
If I could clarify.
Thank you.
Number one, the contract, the online reverse salt auction is non-exclusive.
Perfect. That's what I wanted to hear.
That's good.
That is only for our benefit. Tons of counties in the state have bid on this. The only reason the KYTC option came available is because of the number of tons that we are looking at right now. We do need to get a recommendation from the court to accept the bids and make a recommendation that we do create a contract with the lowest bid for next year, just in case, as Nick said, come January, we've gone through our salt supply and we need a supplier. We're not under any obligation to use either one of those vendors, but it's an opportunity. We know what the price is, $173 a ton, compared to January, but who knows what's happened.
Right.
Okay.
That is exactly the information I was looking for, Mr.
Yes.
Weason.
You're
Thank
welcome.
you. And I've reviewed the fill-in-the-blanks agreement that KYTC has. It's approved as to form and legality, subject to what gets filled in those blanks, and I'd like to review that before it.
Yeah. We have accepted the bids. We voted to accept the bids. So I think we've satisfied that portion of this.
We just need to make a recommendation that we create a contract with IBG for $173 a ton.
I'll entertain that motion.
So moved.
Motion and a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? And I'd like a motion to move forward with creating a contract with KYTC pending Attorney Gold's approval. Is that
So-
acceptable, Attorney Gold?
Yep. So moved.
We have a motion, we have a second. We have a motion and a second. Of course, this is pending Mr. Gold's approval, but all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? So we're good there? All squared away? All right.
That's why we got procurement guys for that. You know what I mean? No, he threw a curveball at me, and I ducked and still got hit by it. So,
Next, you have a request for recycling trailer bid?
yes, the recycling trailers, Eric Higgs, my solid waste coordinator, he came up last court, and gave the award for us getting the PRI grant this year for 2026, 2027 year. And we were able to get $97,000 of that for 4 trailers. Now with that, obviously being able to $40,000, we got to go out for bid, and see if there's any right now Pro-Tainer is with the state, but we do have other manufacturers that can bid. So we give them opportunity to see if they want to when it coming under the state contract.
So
Price.
entertain a motion to go out to bid.
So moved.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Anything else? Nope. Any other questions? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, finally, our road damage deposit returns.
Okay, this road damage deposit, as you're all aware, the road bond was actually made for, or actually required of every solar company that came into Henderson County. The first ones that showed up was Unbridled. They got the NOI, which is their notice of intent, in 7/17 of 23. That was to do all of their stormwater with the state. The state maintained all that because it was such a big project. They paid their damage deposit on 1/23 of 24 at $163,500. That was a damage deposit. Then with that, we did some work on a culvert and on a ditch along Spencer Thornberry that they did not complete to our standards. I've talked with their higher ups, and they allowed us to take that price that we spent on that county funds of $6,801.25 off of their damage deposit, leaving us to return $156,698.75 to return back to them as a damage deposit. Now doing that is stuff, they had a surety bond of $1.3 million. They have, that surety bond has already been completed, but with that, they paved, which if anybody's been out there, they paved parts of Knoblick Road, they paved parts of Hanley, they paved parts of Taylor McDonald, paved parts of W and Royster, and nearly half of Spencer Thornberry. All this was done because I did road ratings from those roads before they showed up. So I was able to determine what was caused by them and what was caused by just normal traffic that comes through that road. The biggest portion was the amount of truck traffic they had on the roads and their trip cycles. So every place that was damaged, that we saw damage after they got finished, was what they repaved. And not only repaved, I had them rebuild. So they rebuilt the road from the subgrade up. So we got new 4 inches of base and 2 inches of surface. They also rebuilt the shoulders in every area that they have worked on, has kind of worked on eroding the shoulders out. Now this is just Unbridled. So this are the only county roads that they impacted was Knoblick, Old Knoblick, Coal Mine, Handley, Taylor McDonald, WN Royster, and Spencer Thornberry. That does not count any state roads. We don't have any bonds over them. So 283 problems are state, not us. 1299 are state problems, not us. 416 are state problems, not us. That has nothing to do with the county and nothing to do with the bonds that I set in place when they showed up. Now Seabury Cellar 1, Phase 1 and Phase 2 are still under contract. They're still under bonds. So they are still having to work on and keep up with Cherry Hill, with parts of Ed Odie, with the upper section of Spencer Thornberry, and the majority of Phase 2 is state roads, 1299, 1217, 416. So again, those are state roads. We have no jurisdiction on those roads, and we don't have any bonds on there. So that we get a lot of calls about those roads. I just push them over to the state maintenance, office here there in Henderson, off of 2084 for them to get back however they set their bonds up with the solar panel company. So this specifically today is just to release the remaining part of the damage deposit for Unbridled, who they finished their work up. They completed the end of September 2025. So I wanted to have a 6-month proving period, which if you do the math, were actually 8 months. I gave them a proving period to find out if anything else, any other cracks would show through the winter, because typically that's where you start having compounded cracking is through the winter freeze and thaw timeframes. We had nothing else that they did not repair up to my standards. And so everything else is free and clear for them to return their damage deposit.
We get a motion to that effect, returning their damage deposit?
So moved.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any other questions?
So the way I understand it, that they have fixed everything that they tore up. That's why we're releasing the funds.
Unbridled has, yes, which I told you the roads they were on. That's only
Right.
unbridled. Their office pulled out sometime in September of last year, but their road crew stayed around. They had had Black Art Paving come in and pave. We met with them numerous times to mark areas. I had them pay full width instead of half width when they want to do half width because of what they damaged. And again, I said our residents shouldn't have to worry about a half a damaged road and other part back, so they actually paid full width on all the damaged areas. If there was a damaged spot here, we went 300 foot down the road and we got more damage. They wanted to stop, pick up, and I said, no, we're gonna make a continuous run, because again, these roads were in place before you all showed up, and we need to give them back to the residents as they are, in at least the good of shape or better, which a lot of places, as Spencer Thornberry, it was replaced a lot better. So we make sure it wasn't a joint. We
Right.
added everything together and try to make a smooth, seamless pavement as we could. Now, for something where they had some damages, like if you see out there on Spencer Thornberry, some places that they skipped that had to go 1,000, 1,500 feet, I couldn't hold them to that, to pave all the way through when there was no damage on those parts. But they've had a crew come out and take care of the ditches that were causing problems. Like I said, everything was up to our standards except that entrance there on Spencer Thornberry, and we replaced the pipe at our cost, and then we deducted that from the damage deposit.
Good.
Any other questions? We have a motion and a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you, Nick.
Thank you, Nick.
Next, I'll call up Coroner Sheila Patterson and review her report. Good morning.
Good morning. You all have a copy, I assume, of this report. We had a busy month for May. We had 18 cases again. We had one a blunt force trauma incident that we had at an industry that we're still dealing with. And then we had a traumatic fall incident one from a local nursing home. And then we've had another case that we collected that happened at a nursing home out of county that ended up here within our hospice. But we also are collecting individuals from the nursing homes, the assisted living places that are having incidents there that ended up the death was from a brain injury. So they've ended up passing away from the result of the falls. So we had to deal with those. We still are doing cremations over and above what we do as cases. So we had 10 of those as well. And we have 3 that we sent for autopsy. And then 5 that we've done toxicology testing on that were not sent for autopsy. And those autopsies we have to still transport to Louisville, and then since they're short-staffed, we're having to wait 2 or 3 months to get those results back. Any questions?
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
Gentlemen, you have in your packet the normal sheriff's report, and unless Sheriff Stoffer has anything to add, I'll entertain a motion to accept those. We have a motion and a second. Any other questions? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Mr. Gold, your report.
Judge, only one check today, the amount of $135 for jail fees. That does bring the fiscal year to date to $281,283.62.
The motion to accept those payments?
So moved. Second.
Motion and a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? I'll call Treasurer Ryder back up to go over transfers. Again, this time of the year where we're balancing out line items, moving money around that's budgeted, just to make sure we keep all the lines in the black. And I'll turn it over to you.
The transfers are as presented, and this is adjusting appropriations through the current fiscal year end. And as the judge previously explained, these are general and necessary as we get close to the year end. I do have one cash transfer from the general fund to the road fund, $900,000, and this is a budgeted transfer.
Any questions on transfers? Your motion approved?
So moved.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any other discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
I do have claims from the general fund to Nathan O'Daniel. This is the sheriff employee, and it's $577.50. This is for reimbursement of training expenses, and is to come from the sheriff's conference training appropriation line. To Best One Tire, $1,360.86. This is for parts and labor for sheriff vehicles, and is to come from the sheriff vehicle repair appropriation line. This next list of people are all people who they were poll workers for the May 2026 primary, and these payments exceed the general approval threshold. So I will call the names out and with the amounts, because there's several here.
But these are all budgeted.
Yes, these are election workers, but because they exceed the $500,000, we need approval. in court.
$500.
Or $500, I'm sorry.
Do we have to prove them one at a time, or can you do them in a block?
I can just read them all if you
Okay.
want. They need to be on the record.
Please.
Okay.
Okay. Sonny Bevan, $580. Susan Denton, $580. Vera Mays, $580. Jean Powell, $580. Alan Taylor, $580. Amy Taylor, $580. Barbara Wells, $580. Mickey Wells, $580. Alanda Drew Williamson, $680. Renisa Abner Clerk, $600. Chip Stauffer Sheriff, $600. Beverly Bailey, $600. And Rosanna Dodson, $600. Have additional claims from the road fund to Unbridled Solar LLC, $156,698.75. This is what the county engineer previously presented. From the jail fund to Advanced Document Solutions, $954.69. This is for a copier agreement and is to come from the data processing equipment appropriation line. To U.S. Bank, which is the credit card, $3,075.02. The majority of this is office supply, coming from the office supplies appropriation line, and the biggest part of that is the Sage software renewal, which is utilized by the jail.
Move to pay the claims.
Second.
Motion and a second. Any other questions about claims? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
Thank you.
If anybody have anything they'd like to say for good of the county, we'll turn it over to you. Good morning, Eric.
Morning.
Morning.
I just want to talk about the success of our after-hours recycling trailer. A lot of people still say they don't know about it, but it goes out every afternoon after 3, and we pull it every morning at 7. And it's also going to be out every weekend, with the exception of like when the rodeo comes to town, then we won't be able to put it out that weekend. We also have a trailer getting ready to stick out in Roberts. Cardin already has their own recycling trailer for the people out there. I'm working for a trailer for Roberts, should be out maybe next week. And what we're going to do is we're going to rotate these around between Roberts, Cardin, Cairo, Niagara. That way for the ones that can't get in here to bring their recycling in, it gives them another option. And then since we are doing after-hours recycling trailer, I don't feel like there's really a need necessarily to have the drive-through open on Saturdays, since we're gonna have a trailer at the fairgrounds anyway. That way, we're not spending a bunch of overtime for.
Right. Now, one thing I wanted to clarify, hopefully people will hear this. We've done this before, and we had a bad experience with it.
Yes, we will continue to do this as long as people follow the guidelines. Now, the trailers are clearly labeled as to what goes where. If people abuse it, then we will pull the service. Hopefully, we won't have to do that again, but so far, so good. It's been really
I
successful.
think we tried it before COVID, and what ended up happening was people threw household garbage in there, and it just got overwhelmed by people doing the wrong thing. So hopefully everybody hears this and understands we can provide this service as long as people pay attention to the rules, and knock on wood, they'll do that, so thank you.
Right.
Appreciate it, thank you.
I think.
Good to the county, please come up and introduce yourself.
Good morning, Fiscal Court. Appreciate
Good
your time
morning.
today. My name's Stephen Land. I'm with Stellar Renewable Power. Stellar Renewable Power is the developer of the 50-megawatt Henderson County Solar Project. This project has been in development since 2021. We became the owner of this project in 2024. Since then, we've been in regular and continuous communication with Henderson County regarding this project. Recently, we received an email from the county, which really caught our attention. And it was in regards to the issuance of our building permit for the project. And I'd like to quote from the email.
Judge, at this point, I would suggest that this is an inappropriate conversation to be heard because there's not been a final decision made on this matter. It is still at the building codes enforcement officer's level. There should be a final decision made on that. There's communication happening between Mr. Land's attorney, Gregory Dutton, with FBT Gibbons, and both myself and our attorney, Mac Johns, with English, Lucas, Priest, and Owsley. There are some legitimate legal questions. They have brought up some things that I assume are about to be said now. This is not the time or place for that. That should occur. There needs to be that discussion had, a legal decision made. And then at that point, if there is any sort of appeal or concern about that, then that would be something that would need to come to fiscal court. But this is not the time or place for this conversation, sir.
With all due respect, Mr. Gold, can I address, because this is titled for the good of the county, can I address specifically the financial impact to the ratepayers if this building permit is not issued, or is that inappropriate as well?
The legal question about whether or not the moratorium applies to this particular project is something that is currently being decided whether or not in discussions between your attorney and us. I am prohibited from communication with you about the issue through the rules of ethics from the Kentucky Bar Association. I cannot get into that conversation with you without your attorney being present. I can't be present for any discussion about that. Also, legally, whether a moratorium applies to a particular project does not have anything to do with rates or ratepayers. It has to do with the actual moratorium and state law. And that's a discussion that needs to be had somewhere else. But if the court does want to further entertain this discussion, I'm going to have to leave the room because I can't have communication about these particular issues just because of the Kentucky Bar Association rules of ethics. So,
Just to be certain we don't run afoul of those rules, I'd prefer we not have this conversation here. Again, work with your attorney.
Okay.
In communication with Attorney Gold's office. He can give you the latest information.
They've sent information to both myself and Mr. Johns, and they're wanting to set up a discussion about particular laws. This is going to be about laws. It's not about outside things. The issue is going to be a legal question. Does the moratorium apply or not? And
We do understand the scope of the project.
Okay.
We do appreciate that.
I
However, these
respect-
questions need to be another forum.
Okay, thank you for your time.
Sir. Good morning, please introduce yourself.
Good morning, my name is Shannon Henson Hill, and I just have a question in regards to kind of goes back to the damage deposit that was for the roads. Is that damage deposit only for roads, or is there any other type of damage deposit for other items, including the vegetative buffering, mowing, that type of thing?
Just roads.
Okay, so, of course, we've been having this discussion now for a year with all the solar projects. That would be Unbridled Solar, Seabury Solar 1, and Seabury Solar 2. In regards to vegetative buffering and the mowing, last year, the excuse was it was too wet, and then it was too dry, and then it was too cold. So they couldn't do the work or perform the work that was needed. What can fiscal court do to issue a stop work order until all solar companies are complying to what they're supposed to be following?
We refer this to Mr. Tassa to do some more research on how, if they've in fact fallen afoul of their permit,
Okay,
we will consult with him.
okay. So I need to contact Randy, or you're going to contact him?
I will.
Okay, and then you'll report back at the next fiscal court meeting, or how will we find out?
If
Because at
there-
some point, if it's not addressed here, then I'm gonna go to the state level, but I want to address it here. What was that look for? I'm just trying to follow the proper chain of command, and this is
Okay.
the proper chain of command, so I'm gonna start here.
We're gonna refer to this to Mr. Tassa. I'll work with him, and if there is a
Okay.
violation, you'll understand it. You'll hear about it.
Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Please introduce yourself.
Hi, my name is Joseph Horton. I'm a resident of Henderson County. About 2 weeks ago, I was here to talk about the budget and what I feel is an overpayment for the magistrate salary for here in Henderson. During my time at the podium, Mr. Snyder, you stated that the raise was to $35,000, that was the appropriated amount in the budget.
I guessed it, but it was wrong. It was corrected.
I've been tracking, yes. So even going back to the $25,000, this is $25,000 plus benefits. 2 weeks ago, I respectfully requested that the salary be lowered to $19,500 to reflect the income of a part-time resident here in Henderson County. After I made that request, I was met with disregard. It was deemed that the hours put in by the magistrates are justified of the $25,000 their current pay. I would like to point out that Mr. Putnam was so quick to say that they're only required 25 hours minimum a week. That's 100 hours a month. You're not considered full-time until you hit the 32-hour on average. It was also stated that since most of my data were received from news agencies, that my numbers were not valid. I would like to thank this court for holding me to a very high standard and for challenging me to stringently vent my information. The information I'm about to share is information gathered from the Census Bureau and the Department of Labor. A large part of it has also been gathered from the counties involved, their fiscal court, and their budgets where it pertains. The average per capita income for a full-time household in Henderson County is $43,800. This is, a little bit, the current salary is more than half of the average income for the county. Now, that story changes a little bit when we shift to just inside city limits. Several magistrates here do have constituents inside town. The average income for Henderson City is only $30,700. For a magistrate pay who's only working part-time to be $25,000 plus training incentive to be almost that of the average income for in-city residents, I find absurd. They shouldn't be making that much. Throughout my research, I did get curious and see what counties relative to our size were paying their magistrates. Relative to our size in this conversation is our population plus or minus 20%. Now that gives us 9 other counties to work with. Interestingly enough, we are the second or third highest magistrate paid relative to our size. 2 weeks ago, I asked that the magistrates for Henderson, that their salary be lowered to $19,500 to reflect the people that they represent. I understand that, work is work. And I understand that this job can have demanding hours sometimes, which is why I didn't say anything about the benefits. This is a part-time job. It is labeled that and classified that by the state of Kentucky. If the magistrates wish to keep the pay of $25,000, it is my request that they lose their health insurance. Well, people in part-time typically don't receive health insurance. If they want to keep their health insurance, which I'm all for, then their pay should be lowered to $19,500 to more reflect that of the Henderson population, or at least to $21,000 to reflect that of the state average. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else for good of the county? Hearing none, we'll go around the horn. Master Southern?
Shannon Henson Hill again. Actually, just in reference to what he was just speaking. With doing all of the, I'm not sure where the 20 or 25 hours come from. Honestly, I can tell you I don't know. Is that a state rule? Is that a county rule?
That is KRS 61.510, subsection 21. It defines regular full-time positions under the Kentucky Retirement System statute regarding state and local government employees. As used in Section 5 of this section, regular full-time positions shall mean all positions that average 100 or more hours per month determined by using the number of months actually worked within the calendar or fiscal year, including, and then there's a couple of exceptions, including all positions except seasonal positions, emergency positions, and a few other.
Yeah. So I'm actually here to defend the magistrates in those hours because I do believe you probably do more than 20 to 25 hours a week. I'm just telling you only because of my own research and looking at board packets and looking at everything that you have to deal with. I know the amount of hours that it takes. So if those hours, I know that you work, if you're doing your job diligently and the way it's supposed to be done, you're doing more than 25 hours a week. Whether you're here in meetings, whether you're out representing the community, whether you're reading, researching, talking with your constituents. So I truly do believe, so most people can't just assume that you're doing the minimum of 20 or 25 hours if you're doing your job effectively. So I just wanted to put that out there.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Master Southern?
I was out driving the roads the other day, and my gravel roads are probably the best shape they've been in my lifetime. Just want to say that didn't accidentally happen. I appreciate what the road department does, and thank y'all. It's nice to be able to drive down the road and not have to worry about knocking the front end out of your truck. You can tell that they're taking pride in what they're doing, and I appreciate my road department. And other than that, all's good in District 3. Thanks.
Master Putman?
Thank you, Judge. All's good in District 4.
Mr. Gold?
Judge, I just remind everybody that the WC Handy Blues and Barbecue Festival is coming up next week. It is our opportunity as a community to welcome visitors from all over. I love being downtown and walking up and down the streets and looking at the license plates from all over the United States. We get people coming back to Henderson year and year again, not just because there's a great free music festival, but also because of the town and the friendliness of our community. So just want to remind everybody to come out, have a good time, roll out the extra special red carpet to all the guests that we have, because those folks that come here and enjoy themselves and see the charm of our community end up coming back to other events and spending money in our stores and restaurants and things like that. So just want to kind of spotlight that and the work that the Fiscal Court does to support the Handy Festival. And other than that, things are busy but good in the Henderson County Attorney's Office.
Thank you, Magistrate Barry.
Thank you, Judge. I don't have anything. I don't want to make any comment.
Magistrate Starks.
Thank you, Judge. Good morning, everybody. Thanks for coming and watching. And I was going to mention the Handy Festival, and I think this, I recall a time when we only had the Granddaddy. That was the Bluegrass Festival, and after that, that was it. And now, look, we almost have something every weekend during the summer months here in Henderson to enjoy. We just had Porch Fest this past weekend. We've got Handy coming up. Still a lot of great things. And Bluegrass kind of caps everything off in the fall. So get out, enjoy. I think it's what makes our community great. And I think it's great also that we're remembering a person who, W.C. Handy, that started a whole art form and has had impact not just here in Henderson, but all across the country and all across the world. And to recognize that, I think that kind of, puts us a little bit on the map, I would think. And to keep that tradition going is great. Thank you, Steve, and all the folks that's involved with that. I also was just going to say hats off to the solid waste. I think he may have already taken off. But I think that recycling trailer, I agree with you, Judge. They need to use it the way it should be. Hopefully, there's going to be maybe a little video surveillance going on. I don't know. But that's a great thing. And I just also want to remind folks, if you're not already, fly the flag. Flag Day is coming up Sunday. I've got a good friend that actually makes U.S. flags in America, which is no small thing these days. And hopefully he's listening. And then thanks to all those who came out and helped the Salvation Army with our golf scramble last week. We had one of the most successful ones so far in our history. We've been doing it over 20 years, I think, Butch. And hats off to everybody involved in that.
Yeah.
But a lot of folks in the community outside of the Red Kettle Drive, which of course is during the Christmas season, the golf tournament is actually the thing that really puts us out, get the word out. And we really need that money now because we've gone through everything that we collected back in the winter. And we still need to help folks from now until the next Red Kettle Drive. So, and that's where these funds will go, is to help folks. And the feeding program, which just continues to grow, and in other ways. And, with all that being said and done, everything else is good.
Thank you. I can give an update on the I-69 bridge. We are communicating almost every week now with Kentucky Transportation Cabinet and Indiana Department of Transportation on the development of the final bids for the bridge. A technical committee set up by KYTC is now reviewing bids from the 2 teams or 3 teams that are in the mix, and they should have a decision hopefully by the end of the summer and announcing it in the fall. Hopefully we get a design that's aesthetically pleasing and something we can be proud of for generations to come. We anticipate that being the case. As you know, Indiana is finishing up Section 3, which is the portion from the northern bank of the river to existing I-69. That's going well. The Indiana Legislature, a subcommittee or a joint committee of the Indiana Legislature will be meeting later this month or next month, I believe, is finishing up their plans for their portion of the financing for the bridge. So all these things are coming together at the same time. The members of BridgeLink are very optimistic about the timeline and hopefully breaking ground next year on Section 2, the bridge portion. So exciting stuff, and KYTC has been the lead organization on this, and they're doing just a terrific job moving it forward. And work closely with BridgeLink to let us know where we could help, and we accomplished some good things during the last legislative session. So all is well, and with the I-69 bridge. With that, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved. Second.
Motion and a second. All those in favor can leave.